Hey people, this is my sister Laura.
Hey, this is my sister Jean. We're the Reclamation Sisters. Today we're going to talk about the difference between sympathy and empathy. And there goes the little squeak.
So what do you know about it?
I didn't really ever stop to think about the difference. I think a lot of times back when I was an English teacher, we would talk about character traits and a lot of these things.
I was going to say, you should know a lot of this.
But empathy, I didn't really realize how much more important it was to feel that empathy as opposed to sympathy. So what I learned from my sister, the master of all these terms, through her job and experience with clients, that I didn't know it was such a bad thing sometimes to experience, not bad, but that sympathy doesn't help. Let's say that.
It
not
drives.
that it's bad, but can it be bad? Can sympathy be bad?
It drives discord and you're disconnected when you engage in it.
Well, why do we have all these shelves in stores with cards, like sympathy cards? They're none of them are labeled empathy.
Sympathy is like an action towards something. Empathy is not the same thing. So sympathy being like, oh my God, I heard your aunt died. Oh my God, too bad, so sad. Here's a casserole. And you go to the funeral and you're like in your bowling jacket and you're like, oh, you stand in line and you're like, so sad. Sympathy is more of like a, secondary, like, oh, terrible, so terrible, like, bad.
Sometimes I go to these funerals I didn't even know the person.
So why are you there?
But because I'm there to support, like, my friend. I had a student 2 years ago die in second grade. Oh, tragic, right? So there was some teachers, we went to the funeral. I knew her and she was the sweetest little thing, but I didn't know her all that well because I wasn't her classroom teacher, and I certainly didn't know the family. It was a terrible situation, and so I wanted to go and show that her teachers cared about her. And so we were there to show our support, but I'm a crier, so I was like bawling, So,
yeah, ugly cry.
Yeah, so I'm crying, but I don't know, is it empathy? Because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm wondering how it would feel if my own child died in second grade. Like, that's not empathy to
No.
What the hell? I don't understand.
So sympathy is like you're showing up for the family to say, I'm acknowledging my experience with Susie, the student, right? Susie student. But really to provide support for a family member is completely different. So if we had somebody that passed away and you went to the funeral, you're showing support for the person, right? Empathy is like, what is your connection with the person who's lost somebody? And you say, I'm sitting next to you. Not too bad, so sad. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, I also have lost somebody in my family. And it was a horrific experience. And I know that there's no words that make it better. But what you need to know is, I'm here with you. And I may not have any words, but no, I'm listening and I don't have judgment. So instead of saying like, oh, here's my casserole and I wrote my name on the bottom, it's, hey, I know you're going to be super overwhelmed right now. Whatever it is you need to do. I know I needed time and I didn't because I had the kids. And so let me take the kids and we'll go roller skating or we'll go bowling or we'll go to the park and then I'll take them to eat. What can I do to support you in your healing process? Okay. Empathy is I'm acknowledging the space that we have similarities, which is the same thing we try to teach people in the rooms of recovery. Empathy is me too. And so that's what we have to drive home is sympathy. Oh my God, so sad. Good thing I have my family. Too bad for her.
Okay, I get it.
Okay,
yeah.
And so empathy is, oh my God, I remember when Grandpa died and it shifted everything for us and people came and did, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And me too. I've also lost my grandpa. People show up because they've had that experience and they're capable of talking about it. Sympathy is like, oh, you fell in a hole? Oh, too bad. Looks kind of dark down there. There's a story of like the attic in a hole.
Okay.
So somebody's walking.
The addict in a hole.
The addict in a hole. Okay. So you're walking down the street and you are struggling with addiction and you fall into a deep, dark hole, right? Okay. Addiction is a deep, dark hole. So like the pastor walks by and they're like, oh my God, if you pray, maybe you'll get out. And then your neighbor's like, well, I don't really have a ladder long enough. Like, too bad. So sad. Okay. Hey, are you hungry down there? You should probably eat. But then another addict walks down and sees you in the hole and they jump in the hole. And you're down there going, what are you doing? We're not going to get out. And the one addict says to the other, it's fine. I've already gotten out. If I'm in recovery, I know how to get out of the hole. I have empathy. I don't want you to be in the hole alone. Sympathy is, you need a sandwich. If I'm a person in recovery, my empathy is, I know what you're going through is so overwhelming. I don't have the answer, but just know I'm sharing space and I'm sitting with you. Empathy is not you trying to send me a card and being like, too bad, so sad.
Mm-hmm. I love that story with the addict in the hole. That's
because
that's
you have to understand that the only person that's going to get you out is somebody who understands it. Life is about recovering, and it takes bravery. And so a brave person would jump down and be like, I've gotten out of something similar. Not the same thing, but we can do this together. There's a solution. Whereas sympathy is like, oh, I'm so sorry you fell in that hole. That's terrible. Sucks to be you. Sympathy also is like if you kind of know somebody, but you don't have a relationship with them. It then gets bastardized even more where we're like, oh, thoughts and prayers. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. If you're truly trying to be empathic with that person, you don't write all of that unless it's a dog. Then you do all the things. But I think you have to realize that the idea of saying thoughts and prayers serves the purpose of making me feel better and not you who's struggling feel better. Like, oh, I'm acknowledging that this person is struggling. Thank God I'm not struggling. Thoughts and prayers.
Another thing that bugs me when I see it on social media a lot is that people announce somebody else's tragedy.
Oh my God.
Don't do that. Like, let's say that I post that my friend's son died. Oh, and I'm posting how terrible it is and how tragic it is and I'm so sorry for her. And then people all start commenting on mine. Sorry for your loss. Sorry to hear that, Laura. And they're like, giving me strength. I don't need the strength. My friend does, know. But it's like I don't know. You're like an attention whore through tragedy. Those of us who were actually needing the strength, like my family, when we were going through the height of your addiction, we weren't posting about it, trying to get thoughts and prayers and like these false, crappy little,
thinking of you.
Yeah, none of that matters. None of that's really helpful. So don't post about anybody else's tragedy. When somebody needs that real attention and real prayer, like a significant prayer chain where you're actually going to stop, not just type the word or put the little emoji, but actually do something to get a prayer group going. But to just say, oh, thoughts and prayers and then move on about your day, it's sort of like that, oh, poor Dolores, poor Dean, their daughter's an addict, but you're not doing a damn thing to help.
Be authentic in who you're engaging with and don't do it for attention. Yeah. Do it because you actually care about the person who's struggling.
And whether posting about it does not mean that you care about that person.
Are you somebody who can bring the energy to the person that's struggling? If not, is it yours to even own?
Yes.
Take ownership of what is important in your circle. But if it's not something you're engaged with, doing it secondarily serves more damage.
Shut your face, yeah.
I can't say it enough. We're hardwired for connection as human beings. And when we feel separated or less than or made to have no value, then we don't heal. And when somebody says, I don't know what you're going through, but I know when I struggled, it just was really helpful to have somebody to be present. And then when you're ready to talk, you talk. But it's also the sense that we have to be sympathetic toward experiences people go through and acknowledging and spreading kindness. Neither are a negative thing to do, but it's really important to understand true healing comes from empathic responses and empathy in relationships. So if you can kind of work to incorporate that, healing happens.
And that's what we want. See you guys.
Bye. All right.
What are we talking about?
Stuff. Shenanigans. Mustard biscuits.
What?
Mustard.
What did you say?
Mustard and biscuits.
What's it from?
Sling Blade.
I could have mustard and biscuits 3-4 times a week.
I don't know that movie.
Oh my God. Billy Bob Thornton.
I know who he is, but I haven't seen that.
Mustard. Biscuits. Who eats mustard on biscuits?
Mustard.
Right.
What are we talking about?
We're gonna talk about stiff.
I forgot though.
Did you
legit? What was the topic? So
you are shot. Ready? And I don't know.
Be
aggressive. Be aggressive. BEAGGRESSIVB aggressive. Aggressive. Okay. Hi.
No, we don't say hi.
Hi. Who says hi? Hey. What's up? Sister.
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever!
What is wrong with you?
He just died.
Who? Who died?
Chadwick Boseman.
Who's that?
Black Panther!
Who's Black Panther?
You don't have boys.
I don't.
You don't know these things.
There's a new show
I
called...
might not know the difference between shame and guilt, but I damn sure know who Chadwick Boseman is. My damn eyes are watering.